Hi guys, I'm just going to do a very quick video explaining how to fit this LED reflector as a replacement for the standard reflector on the Honda CB500X. So that's actually not the standard reflector because I've already changed that. But I was asked on Facebook Honda CB500X Riders UK by David Harbottle to do a fitting video. Well, it's difficult, I've already fitted it, but I can explain how it fits. Before I do that, I'll just touch on, I'll switch it on so you can see what we're talking about. So, yeah, you can see that, even though it's a beautiful evening with the sun shining. I'm going to block off the light, and you can see the reflector is now showing as just a standard little rear light, an extra rear light. And when you put a brake on, you have a brake light in there too. So, this is a little mod that costs next to nothing. It was only a few, less than, maybe about £4 or £5 for the LED replacement. So it's easy to fit. The only thing that you've got to really think about is, or consider, is the wiring side. If you're confident enough to actually do a little bit of wiring, then it's fine. If not, if you've got a friend that can do it, even better. I've always had a friend that does my wiring, but at the moment it's well, when I fitted this, I just wanted to get it fitted. So, and I've watched him doing it plenty of times, so I actually did it myself. And the only difficult bit is that there's no instructions with the light when it comes, and obviously the wires don't match what's on your bike. So it's a bit of trial and error to figure out which wire is the brake, which wire is the rear light, and which is the earth. But with that trial and error, on the one I've got, so you really need to be checking your own if you're fitting one. On mine, the black is earth, the red is brake light, and the green is the tail light. So tail light, brake light, earth. Took a little bit of figuring out when I stripped the back out to get to the wiring, and I'll just show you now how it's done because it is straightforward. Oh, just something else to mention, on the back there's a bolt which is in the right place. It's a standard bolt, exactly the right place for this bike. I think it's pretty standard on a lot of bikes really, but so that's okay. But where the wires come out, there's some sealant, and so this doesn't fit flush to the actual back of the bike. So when you eventually strip it off to get to it, just the point where you're going to put the wires through, you need to drill a hole through the plastic. It's hidden. Can't be seen from this side, can't be seen from the rear. But you do need to drill a hole to allow that to sit in so it goes flush. After I've done that, I then just put some more sealant in to seal that. So that's what we fitted. I'm going to have to put the camera down now to show you what comes off. So now looking underneath the tail of the bike, this bit of plastic here, which, let's see, this piece of plastic here has 3 bolts. So you take out these 3 bolts and you can remove this cover. So it's basically just a cover. Once that's removed, it's quite straightforward to then take off the old reflector, because the bolt is behind here, and put your new reflector in. Obviously, you're going to have to drill an extra hole, as I've already described, just to get that sealant and wire through. So you just drill a hole, pop it through, a little bit of sealant on it just to really just hold it in place, and then you can fasten the bolt back up again. The wires go up behind this little panel into the tail, which is at the back of your bike on top. Actually, the other thing to mention, it is easier actually taking the number plate off as well. So the number plate comes off quite easy. I just found it easier to take that off and then whip it back on again. So these are the wires that come out of the rear light, and you've got, excuse me, you've got green. I hope you can see. You've got a green one, which is earth. You've got a green and blue, which is brake light, and you've got a pink and blue, which is tail light. So you'll find these are in, well, you'll just find the information in a handbook, but that's excuse me, that's how these are on the bike. So that wire then went down into a connector just here. I hope you can see that. There's a connector that goes sideways. You need to just remove that connector, and it's very easy to disconnect it, and then you can pull the wires out to a place that you can actually get to them. So once those wires are out, there's different ways that you can wire it up. I decided to, rather than use blocks, you can get them blocks that just nip the wire to connect into. I decided to cut the wire, trim off a little bit either side, and then soldered the new reflector LED setup into those wires. So basically I cut the wires, I then just put the new wires in as like a T-junction, as it were, just a connection in, and then soldered it. And I soldered it because I felt it would give a better longer term fixing for it. And once I'd soldered them in, bit of a fiddle, but it's you know, you can do it, it's not that difficult, but a little bit of a fiddle. Once I'd got them in, I just put electrical tape around that, and then I put electrical tape around the whole thing. Now I've removed the electrical tape that goes around everything, so you could see the wires, but it should give it a perfectly waterproof. It's not caused me any problem, and it's been on for I don't know, been on for a few months now anyway. So and that's it really. And it's a bit difficult to show, but hopefully you've seen. The main thing to do is to, before you start soldering, is just to test it, because whilst I've shown you the wires and the colours of the wires with mine, you know, you could get one with different coloured wires. So I would recommend that you, once you've got to a point of attaching or joining your new wires in, just put them in without actually soldering them, and then test it. But if yours are the same colouring as these, then you might be lucky and it just might fit exactly right. Once that's done, that little block just gets plugged back in again, and then it's connected to the rest of the bike. The little panel that's on the back of the number plate just screws back on, and as they say, Bob's your uncle. Job done. If you've got some more questions, I know it's a little bit bitty this, but if you've got some more questions, just give me a shout. But that's effectively how I fitted mine.